This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everybody. I've learned so much ever since we've gotten together with her. And even before we jumped on here, I'm talking in like 20 seconds, had another realization of why this modality is so beautiful, so important, and so easy. Breath work, breathing intentionally. I'm minimizing that here for just the moment, but in doing so, it can help regulate your nervous system. It can help reframe memories you may have. I'm going to say maybe even things in your subconscious that you might be dealing with or that you don't know you're dealing with. She's a facilitator for breath work and so much more. And we're going to learn a lot today with Stanna Stone, who's back with us. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing great. Yeah, I appreciate being here today to talk about breath work.
It does a lot for us, and that's why when you do sessions with people, they can be short, 15 minutes, they can go 2 hours. There's a lot going on here, and we're going to focus on something called COEX today. What exactly is COEX?
Yeah, so what a COEX is it's short for condensed experience. So a COEX is a cluster of experiences that share the same emotional theme. For example, a failure and inadequacy COEX might have stemmed from criticism from caregivers and or school embarrassment or shame around making a mistake. And then when we become adults, it also could be job rejection or relationship conflict. And so what happens is that there's a great analogy, and that is the filing cabinet analogy. And that is that memory is not stored chronologically in the psyche. And the psyche is our mind and everything internal in our bodies here. It's stored in groupings with memories of similar emotional signature. So when something triggers that emotional theme, it can really activate the whole network of memories. And so this explains why sometimes people have big emotional reactions to small events. So people with this coax of failure and inadequacy sometimes show up as perfectionists, or they fear judgment or fearing failure. So in breath work, we can quiet that prefrontal cortex, that thinking mind, and then we can access these deeper layers in our mind to be able to start healing them.
So it seemed, and I use the file cabinet analogy as well, but it seems that, as you said, it's not stored chronologically. I'm thinking it's more like folders. So here, let me pull out of my mind in the file cabinet. I have the shame folder. So different things, and I guess this does go back to your subconscious and your childhood. And is it true that the subconscious is always looking for evidence to back up what's in the folder? So let's say you get one episode of, something happened. Somebody said something to you when you were, 6 years old. All right, that's been put in the folder, in the file cabinet. Then something presents, you're almost 7. And call it, we're in the shame one here. And somebody says something to you. And that, got another one, put another one in that. And now it accumulates in that folder, and your subconscious believes it all. Not true. You just internalize it as a kid, but now it's believing. It's like, oh, well, we got a lot on him here with the shame thing. Yeah, he's got a lot of shame in him. Is that kind of how it works?
Yeah, 100%. So with the humiliation and shame coax, that core feeling is something is wrong with me. And that might have started with having an embarrassing moment in public, or being criticized or ridiculed. And so later in life, and a person with this coax might have social anxiety, or they might hide their authentic self, or have deep sensitivity to judgment. So what we do is our brains are wired to um, to go the path that it knows. It goes, it's for efficiency. If it's, and so therefore to be able to start healing that, then we need to start bringing these unconscious patterns into our awareness because sometimes we're not aware, like, why am I feeling anxious? I don't have like a reason to. And then it might be that you had just read an email about something that you felt was a slight criticism, right? Something small, but it's really triggering something in our bodies. It because that memory is tied to so many other things. It's like a network of memories. And so
Mm.
so really you want to try to dive in and start peeling back the layers of that to start healing it.
Wow. So I've always believed that breathing intentionally, breath work, so important. But I never realized that it could help us with these challenges, and there's so many of them. You know, guilt, shame. Um, I'm going to say even abandonment. Maybe that's something too that's sitting in your subconscious, and many different modalities to get that done. Hypnotherapy can work, and on and on and on. How does breath work help us with these challenges?
So with breath work, you lie down on a mat or on a bed or wherever you want to. Online, it's on a bed, right? But in person, it's typically on a mat. And so what happens is that we put the music on. We have eye masks on just so we can then focus internally, and we then have the music on. And what that breathing pattern does with the music, and by the breathing pattern, I'm talking about the conscious connected breath. That's also called a circular breath, where you're breathing in and out, just slightly faster, not hyperventilating, just a little bit faster, but without any gaps. So in and out in the circular breathing pattern. And what that does is that starts to change just very slightly the chemistry in our body and our blood with the CO2 and the oxygen, and that very small shift then starts quieting this prefrontal cortex. This is the part that just wants to like we need this prefrontal cortex to be able to operate in the world, but our psyche wants to heal, and when this prefrontal cortex is always active, then it's not giving our body, our minds, our psyche a chance to integrate these experiences. And so our mind then files them away, like compartmentalizes them, and then we tuck them away in this little box, and we never oftentimes won't open them back up because we're like, that happened in the past. I
It's
don't
the
need to
file
worry.
cabinet. I closed it. I'm not opening it again.
That's exactly right. But then you're like, why did I have this reaction? So if you're ever wondering why you're feeling a certain way about something or a repeating pattern, perhaps in a relationship, like why are my relationships not successful? Why am I repeating the same thing? I'm really trying to focus on changing this up. It's often when that happens, it's often because something is running in the background unconsciously, and we need to get to it to heal, to integrate it. And so breathwork again quiets this prefrontal cortex. We're able to go in and start addressing, like it's essentially opening the drawer of the file cabinet, taking out that file, that coex of shame and humiliation perspective and processing it, because a lot of times trauma, whether it's big trauma with a big T or little trauma with a little t, meaning something smaller happened but it still impacted us, it gets stored in our body and our mind because we don't have a way to process it. Maybe it's not the moment because everything is happening, and so that then is going into that file drawer, pulling out that folder with all of those coexes of shame and humiliation in it, and really starting to address it, integrate it, process it, having our body refeel it. oh, it can be painful to refeel some of those emotions, right? We start crying, we start getting angry, and we want to punch pillows, and which is completely fine in breath work, right? You have pillows around, you can punch them. You might want to
Mm.
yell out like, that wasn't right, that wasn't fair, whatever you are feeling, whatever your body wants to do, that really helps to integrate it. And slowly, over time, over breathwork sessions, you will notice a difference in your life. This is truly a very healing modality.
Wow. So I want to get into the different types of, call them coexes, challenges that we may have. But before
Hmm.
we go there, it seems like
Hmm.
when you're doing breath work, you're tapping into, because of the different oxygen level, the energy, and all of that. It's allowing you to tap into parts of your brain so you can refocus, maybe rewire, however you want to word that. Once you've allowed us to tap into that, how do you make the change?
Yeah. The change happens because we're revisiting those memories. Remember, the last time when we were chatting, I mentioned that the body keeps the score. The body retains the feeling, the energetic feeling of that memory. And so when we quiet that prefrontal cortex and are able to go back into the mind, we're able to, honestly, it's just simple that we just go back into the mind and start looking at those memories and reintegrating them in our lives. You might still feel that shame and humiliation, for example, that's the process that the coex that we're talking about, but it won't be as intense. It won't, you will be able to, it will come up, like if you have a trigger, it'll come up and you'll be like, wait a second, I recognize this. This is my shame and humiliation that's popping up. I have looked at that inside my body. I am stronger and more confident around this now, and now I can choose a different pattern. Breath work brings these things up into our awareness. Being aware of it instead of having it run on autopilot in the back is really what breath work helps to do, and it helps to integrate it in our lives.
Wow. I got to tell you, after lots of podcasts about challenges we have, the subconscious and all of that, I've never heard somebody say that those negative emotions, those things that we deal with, we're talking about, we're going to get into deeper here, that it's got an energy imprint. It's connected to an energy. Never. And it makes perfect sense now. Why it goes in the folder in the file cabinet.
And why it stays in our body. And
Yeah.
we really need to, yeah, to release that. And initially, like you could say, okay, I had this experience. I really would like to try to heal it. But here's the thing. When you lay down on that mat, put that headphone on or have the music play through a speaker, and you start doing this breathing, your body is going to bring up what is ready to heal. Your mind, your psyche wants to integrate and heal itself. It's like if you cut your finger, you don't think, oh, I have to send, red blood cells and platelets and, white blood cells and everything over to that cut to heal it. No, your body knows how to heal it. And that's the same thing with the psyche. It wants to achieve homeostasis. It wants to achieve balance. But we have to allow the opportunity. Our lives are so busy. We're so
Mm,
busy running from things, meetings and deadlines and events, could be fun busy too, but
sure.
it's just taking that time to look at yourself and allowing that mind the opportunity to then heal. And so, yeah, and so just by bringing it back up, that's when we start doing the breathing technique with the music, and the music has a certain arc, and so there is breathwork music. It's not just, regular. like music that you might listen to at the spa where it's super relaxing. It's meant to get your mind moving. It's get to access those other parts in the mind, not just the prefrontal cortex part.
Wow.
But yeah, so that we are able to integrate that. Mhm.
So, coex, as we talked before about feeling like you're a failure, you're inadequate, what are some of the other things that this can help with?
Yeah, for sure. There are several identified coexes, and Stan Groff, he is one of the founding pioneers of breathwork. He's still alive, and he's in his 90s, but he's done decades of research with people that show that these groupings come together, these emotional groupings come together to form these coexes, these condensed experiences. And so some of them that he has identified are abandonment and unworthiness. And that is as a child, you might have experienced emotional neglect or separation from caregivers or inconsistent love. Sometimes, the parent was loving one day, but then the next day was quite stressed. And so, didn't provide some of that support. So we might feel, oh, I'm not worthy of that. And then as a later expression in life, you might notice that as fear of rejection or relationship anxiety. Another coex is caretaker and self-neglect. So that core feeling is my value comes from caring for others. And this is different because we obviously want to care for people, but this is when your value, like your person, you feel like I don't have as much value unless I am jumping in and really, taking charge. And no, you don't have to do it. It's all on me. Yeah, but that gets heavy. That gets so heavy. And so look at that. Like, why is my value coming so much for being the caregiver, the caretaker? You might have, as a child, been deemed the responsible child. And you might have had to comfort and provide support to your caregivers as well. They
Mm,
might have relied on you versus you as the child relying on them for the support. So later expressions in life might be overgiving and really experiencing that burnout and difficulty asking for help and receiving help. People, you might be like, oh, I just want to help you. Well, I'll help you too. Oh, no, I don't need any help. That's when you say, I wonder if this coex of being the caretaker and self-neglect is popping up. So,
Hmm. Wow. Uh, I'm going to say it. My mind is blown today with all of this. Had no idea. Yes, breath work, important. Didn't know it can help us heal from a lot of these things that we all deal with. And I'm going to say we all deal with in some shape and form. It's my understanding that the feeling of not being worthy or not good enough is in all of us. Every single one of us. Different levels, different situations. And that's just the starting point. There's so much more going on here. What's reasonable to think in terms of, and everybody's different. Everybody's got different things going on. But what do you think is a good starting point for the number of sessions it would take to, let's say you have abandonment issues and maybe one other coax going on there. How many sessions do you think on average?
you know what? That's a tough one because it's going to vary by person. And the reason is because we've all had different life experiences. And when you lay down on that mat, something else might come up. It's hard. You can set the intention to say, I want to heal that abandonment issue that I feel. But your body might say, your psyche and body might say, well, first we have to address this lower level feeling first, and we need to heal that before we can dive into that next layer, before we can dive into the abandonment coex to start healing some of that. So, your body might start off with, let me just heal from the day. I've had a stressful day. I'm buzzing. My nervous system is really stressed out, your body might say, I can't get to that deeper abandonment just yet. I need to settle your nervous system right now. So as we start doing breath work, we are then priming those neural pathways in our mind to be able to drop in quicker, to be able to access these emotional states and in the energetic states and the nervous system state quicker. So this is why repeated breath work is so value added, is because then you get into it faster. So then you can then get to those deeper places to start healing those. And we all have a coex, several coexes even, that we're working on healing, but address the basics first, and then you'll be able to get to the deeper levels. There's
Amazing. Is there anything that we can do on our own in terms of breath work, maybe to just prime the engine to the like starting point, very basic kind of stuff?
Yeah, just starting by honestly becoming aware that we have a lot of stored memories in our body and in our minds. And honestly, we can just even just take a moment this second here. It not if you're driving, if you're in a safe spot to be able to take a moment and just close your eyes and take a deep breath into your body and letting that breath out and just connecting, asking yourself, how is my body feeling right now? Is my chest tight? How does my stomach feel? Are my shoulders like up by my ears, or are they nice and relaxed and rolled back? Just becoming aware and taking deep breaths, starting to slow down our system. Slow down the breath. And just in this 1 minute of doing that, we are starting to reset the body. And you can do this anywhere. It's not while driving.
It feels amazing. It really does. Like if you're really intentional and just let yourself go, if you will, to accept the feeling, it's like a reset button during the day. Just by that 1 minute. It's just 1 minute. We didn't even do a minute. Amazing. And can you do any of this virtually?
Yes, absolutely. So my website, excuse me, my website is www.renewinnature.com. That's renewinnature.com. And I offer online breathwork sessions. And so you can just go out there and click on, excuse me, click on the online session and I'll be with you. I'll be with you to do an online breathwork session. Excuse me
Mm.
one second.
I could just hearing your voice. You could say anything. You could talk about a pepperoni pizza, and I'm like, I'm chill.
Oh, how nice.
Fantastic.
I also do breathe and reset videos, and I'm posting them on my webpage as well. Those are completely free. Just go out there and do a 1 minute, 5 minute breathe and reset. I
Hmm.
love doing them. They actually, when I put those videos out there, they relax me too. So I'm receiving goodness while helping you.
Fantastic. Again, what's the website, Stanna?
It's renewinnature.com. That's all one word, renewinnature.com.
Thank you so much for today. I've been talking about this for a long time. Never realized how amazing breath work is. I know it was great, but this stuff, tapping into the subconscious, and for those who have aversions to hypnotherapy, and I can go here and name a bunch of people that I've recommended it to, and they've done like 3 sessions, and they said, "It didn't work. It's not for me. I'm going to bail on it." I know why it didn't work because they weren't open to it, and then there's some thoughts of, "Oh, it's going to control my mind," and they can't let go. With this, all you got to do is breathe and listen and be open. Amazing. Wow.
Yeah. At the very least, you'll have a relaxed state. Like if for some people that really have a hard time dropping into be able to allow the experience, like trusting the process.
Sure.
Um, the very minimum is that you get a moment to just relax your body. So you're always getting a benefit with breath work, but most of the time you're able to get also a healing benefit from it too.
Open up the file cabinet, people. Yeah, I know you
Right?
don't want to, but we need to.
Yeah.
Thank you again for today. We'll catch up next time, okay?
Sounds great. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.